What? So Seer is still a problem in Apex Legends. I don't think we give Respawn enough credit for being a really good studio. Outside of what Respawn has done with just Apex, Respawn has made some of the best FPS games in history. For you guys who don't know, Respawn was the studio that initially made COD, so like Modern Warfare 1 or COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2. Respawn was the initial studio that actually made those two games. Or should I say the people who work at Respawn right now were the original creators of COD. And we all know what Call of Duty has become. Respawn also made Titanfall, and Titanfall has been one of the most critically acclaimed FPS game to be released in the past decade. Then we have Apex, which is also one of the most critically acclaimed Battle Royale FPS games out right now. So Respawn has a very good track record of just making, really good games, and you don't get there by just making good games. Respawn also knows how to market themselves. When Apex first released, guys, there was no prior announcements, there was no like E3 segment or anything like that. All Respawn did was just announce that a brand new FPS Battle Royale game is dropping, and the players, the streamers, you guys are the ones who kind of promoted Apex for Respawn. So all of this to say that Respawn is a very, I would say, strategic studio, and they know what they're doing most of the time. So taking a look at Season 10, and more specifically Seer, because as we all know, Seer is the biggest controversy going on because he's insanely strong. Every single big streamer is like trending Seer on Twitter because everyone wants Respawn to nerf Seer, right? And for some reason, Respawn still hasn't nerfed Seer. Actually, Seer's nerf was delayed another week. Respawn actually said they had to delay Seer's nerf because it wasn't ready in time, and it just basically wasn't ready, to ship. And that's interesting to me because many content creators and many pros before Season 10 even dropped got to play Seer. They got to playtest Seer and actually give their opinions on whether he was strong. And a lot of these pros said that Seer was not insane. As a matter of fact, guys, content creators and pros are saying that Seer was buffed a lot right before Season 10 was released. Like, the Seer we have right now wasn't the same Seer that they played during the playtest sessions of Season 10. So my question here is real simple. Like, what made Respawn want to buff Seer this much? Because the pros didn't say he was trash before. He definitely wasn't trash, but he just wasn't as insane as he is right now. So there has to be a reason that made Respawn want to give Seer this insane buff. And I have a really interesting theory about this. Now, I could be completely just reaching, I could be wrong, but I feel like Respawn fully intended Seer to be as strong as he is right now. Let's take a look at the current state of Apex, right? Apex is the biggest Battle Royale game out right now. All of these big streamers are playing it as well. And although Seer is very OP and he's very strong, he's also bringing in so many eyes to Apex and so many new players. Like, the fact that Seer is so strong is simply just promoting Apex even more. Like, if you guys looked at Timmy, who did the solo to prayer challenge on Twitch, because Seer was so strong, just because Timmy was encountering so many Seers when trying to do this challenge, and he tweeted out F Seer on Twitter, that actually began to trend all over Twitter. And all of those new streamers, those new Warzone streamers like Nick Mercs and Tim the Tatman and Tifu, Symphony, Cloaksy, all of these guys who are playing Apex as well are also talking about how insane and how strong Seer is. So you could just imagine how many new Apex players would just simply go into Apex just to try out Seer and see how good he is. Because let's be real, everyone wants to use OP things. If something is insanely OP, I want to use it, you want to use it, all of us at least want to use it once just to see how it feels, right? So in my eyes, guys, Respawn dropping Seer in this OP state was completely calculated, and Respawn knew exactly what they were doing. Which isn't a bad thing because, I mean, it's working. This is the biggest Apex season yet. It's even more sketchy to me that Seer was buffed right before his release. And Respawn has said in the past that they like to release legends in a really strong state because it's easier to nerf a OP legend as opposed to buffing a weak legend like Fuse or Rampart. Like Rampart and Fuse had about 4 or 5 buffs each to make them what they are right now, and they still aren't the best legends in this game by any means. So that could also be a reason why Respawn wanted to drop Seer in a very strong state. But when Respawn said that Seer's nerf had to be delayed because it wasn't ready in time and it couldn't ship in time or whatever Respawn said, I didn't believe that for 1 second, because I actually think that Respawn is just riding this wave of success that Apex is having right now. And as much as we hate Seer, and as much as that makes no sense, as much as Seer is overpowered right now in the game, this OP legend is giving Apex so much more exposure in the meantime. So if I was Respawn and I was smart, right, and I was seeing the trends and, you know, all of this exposure that Apex was getting right now, if we're being real, I would do the exact same thing. You know, yes, the casuals are gonna complain, yes, the pros are gonna complain as well, but what's one more week of free exposure for Apex? What's one more week of everyone talking about how OP Seer is and giving us, you know, free promotion, new players, and that means more people spending money on skins, which means more money in EA's and Respawn's pocket. If I was Respawn, I would do the exact same thing, so I can't even blame Respawn, to be honest. But for you guys out there who honestly think that Respawn just doesn't have a Seer nerf ready for us, come on now, don't be so gullible. I honestly feel like Respawn has some kind of contingency plan in place for whenever they buff a really strong legend. Not to mention, Seer was buffed right before he was released, so all Respawn had to do was revert Seer to his old form when the pros and content creators playtested him, and call it a day. So this delay to me just doesn't make sense. Like, it only makes sense if Respawn knows exactly what they're doing, and I think they do. Respawn knows what they're doing. It's a very smart business move in my eyes. Yes, we do have to deal with Seer being annoying as hell, just for a little bit longer, but in the end, guys, like in the long run, I would prefer Respawn have Seer OP for a couple of weeks and us have, you know, a better experience with Apex because of the growth and because of the exposure that Apex got because of this OP legend, as opposed to Respawn dropping a very boring, weak, underpowered legend like Fuse back in Season 8. So Respawn, in my mind, I know what you're doing. I could be wrong, but it just makes sense in my mind. Like, all of this seems like a perfectly calculated strategy for growth, and I would say it's working pretty well. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts down below, guys. As always, I read every single one of my comments, so don't be shy. Drop a like on the video if you're new, hit that sub button as well, and I'll see you guys in some more Apex. Till next time.